Well, hi everybody. Welcome to the Liberal Lounge. I know you're wondering, where's Lola? This doesn't look like Lola. We have a special guest tonight, and Lola couldn't make it, so we were going to talk to our special guest together, but I get the pleasure of talking to you all by myself. So, go ahead and tell us who you are. Who are you?
Hey everyone, so my name is Meliton. I'm an immigrant, openly gay person. I'm actively part of Pride organization, and I'm gonna be your next Mr. Las Vegas Pride for 2026.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I really wanted to come to talk to you because my expertise, I'm studying criminal justice and political science. So for me, talking about politics and what's affecting our life currently are one of the main purpose of why I'm doing what I'm doing and what's the job that I would like to get from it, because I would like to go to law school and be a prosecutor.
Oh, wow.
And after the defense lawyers. That's the plans, and hopefully eventually, finger crossed, a district court judge so I can make a bigger impact.
Nice.
So that will be the plan, we will see.
So we have a few different topics that we're going to talk about today. As we were talking about some of these, we're going to be a little bit all over the place, but we will try to frame it the best we can. And I have a suspicion that we're going to go a little bit longer than our normal video, so I'm going to make this a two-parter.
Okay.
So what I'm going to actually do is at some point I'm going to cut it off, and I'm gonna continue it, because I have a suspicion that we're gonna get kind of long-winded in some of our stuff, but also I think this is gonna be a really interesting conversation, and I don't want to limit what we're saying.
Yeah, sure,
so
sure.
I definitely want to get the best of what we have to offer.
I'm almost 100% sure about that. We're gonna go long.
Because what we always say is that we, Lola and I are not experts. I also have a political science degree. I'm a little bit older.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But I'm not an expert in this field. I do entertainment sales and things like that. So when you talk to me about like the decline in entertainment in Vegas, I could tell you about all that all day long, and I'm more of an expert of that. This is really like what's happening in the world right now, our opinions, how we feel about things. So with that, I'd love to dive in. I know you and I had talked about a few different issues. So go ahead and start with what you want, because I think we're going to be able to.
We're gonna be just
run with it.
Well, I think the first thing that we should talk, as a European, so I'm originally from Hungary, and I think one thing that is for me crazy here in this country is the continuous gun violence, what is happening on the streets. In Europe, we have gun strict laws. You can have a gun if you have a training, and the government provides you that license to get a gun. But lots of people don't have it. But if we're comparing violent deaths from gun, I know there is some arguments that, people can kill you with a knife. Yes, one person. Usually it's one person involved with another person.
No, I mean, it's really the gun is what we're talking about.
The gun is the problem. And since I moved here, I did recognize, and I studied the Constitution a lot, that we have a constitutional right. But do we actually have the constitutional right? That's my question all the time, because it's not as clear cut as people like to make it sound like. Like once we looking at the Second Amendment, it starts with the well-regulated militia part. And well, you can check it out wherever is listening and watching.
You're saying because of when the Constitution was established.
And that's
that's what the world was about at that point. It was not about what it is today.
No, not at all. And when we're looking at the historic context behind the Second Amendment, it was established against a tyrannic version of a government, because the people were escaping from a king version of government of the British area, where they can just go and take your properties, they can take your house, the government was able to do whatever they want to support their version. So the Second Amendment was to protect against these government intrusion in your life and your properties. But looking at the current system in 2025, are we joking ourselves? Like your AR-15 is not gonna protect you from a drone sent out from the Pentagon to shoot up your house if they want to shoot up your house. The military, the US military is way more powerful than you can save it with a couple of guns. So the basic concept of the Second Amendment is not applicable anymore. If you want to talk about self-protection from other intruders for your life, I get it. I learned to accept it, that it is what it is. But
This is different than your culture.
yes,
Your culture is very
we don't
different.
have any guns.
Okay.
So we never
I
had
love
to.
that. I love hearing, because I grew up in America,
Yes.
so gun is part of my heritage, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But I love when I talk to people from other countries because you have a very different perspective on all of that.
And we never had problem with it. Never. My father had a gun, but my father had a gun because my father was a police officer for 10 years, so he had a right to have a gun. And after he worked as a fireman for 15 years. So because of that two jobs, they were able to access guns. But it was one little pistol. It wasn't an AR-15 auto rifle mass destruction method. It was a gun, one small gun. But he never used it. He never bring it. He left it at where he worked. Like it was his work equipment for that level. So we never had issue. Never. I could not imagine the life here in the United States before I moved here 9 years ago. That how different is that gun arguments are. Like, and I still for today I accept, and I figured out I accept that there is guns here. I still cannot agree with it to 100%. I think there is need to be regulation, and that's where my argument comes in. We need to read the Constitution how it is. In the Constitution, if we are, we still need it. It's a well-regulated militia. Means that we shouldn't have mass destruction weapons just in our backyard, getting up from Walmart because we have the state where you can just go into the Walmart and pick it up.
Yep.
We should have a license. We need a license for driving.
Yeah.
We need a license to everything what we're doing here.
Well, they need to stop having all these loopholes at all these gun shows where
Oh, yes.
somebody could just go in and get a gun and without having any of the background checks that
No.
you have when you go to buy it a little bit more legitimately at like a gun store. You know, it's crazy how you couldn't do that with anything else. You couldn't do that with a car. You couldn't do that with like anything else that you were buying that could potentially kill somebody, that is dangerous to own. It feels like guns have just, and that's because of the NRA. I mean, let's talk about the
NRA.
agenda
Yeah.
that is going here. And I mean, hey, I'm as liberal as they come, and I know that this is really heavily skewed on the Republicans, but there's some Democrats also that are getting some of that NRA money.
Oh, yes.
So, like, that's a fucking problem. And I know we're not necessarily going into that, but the money in politics is really, I think, where we're getting these gun, like, laws and these, and the leniency that's on guns. The fact that every fucking time we have a gun shooting, I'm talking about on a school level, that it's prayers, it's prayers.
It's always
and wishes.
praise.
Yeah, they want to give prayers, and they want to talk about mental illness. They never, ever, how dare them even talk about the guns, because then, it's the liberals trying to take away your guns. No, we don't care about you having guns. I care about you having AR-15s, these automatic rifles, and like a litany of, you shouldn't have a room of guns.
No,
what the
you shouldn't.
fuck? Like, who needs that?
Nobody needs that. And what you said, it's 100% true. We know we're not going into that. But the money in politics, it's fucking nuts. Because that united decision, what the Supreme Court made, that money is free speech, it's unacceptable to the level when doesn't matter what you vote for. The federal government is not for us. It's for these companies who is providing all of these millions and millions of dollars. And to be controversial, I can even put it out, that's exactly the reason why we don't have the Epstein files released yet. I do believe that both sides of the political spectrum have someone on those files. That's
Sure.
why nobody has
I don't
released
know
it.
Bill Clinton's in them,
Because
and I don't give a
Trump
shit.
is inside.
Yeah.
But the reason it wasn't released, it's not because the politicians. The reason, because there are probably high executive officers from these
Sure.
billionaire companies
Yep.
are on that list, and they try to protect their donors who is putting a shit ton fucking money for that re-election campaign.
Yep.
And this is insane. I think that's the main underlying issue of the argument, that everybody accepts that guns are the problem. Well, first of all, we need to accept that guns is the
I don't know if everybody
but we need
accepts
to
it.
accept, these are facts. These are not opinions, guns are a problem. Or we shouldn't have already the 26th, this last week, with that high school shooting, that was the 26th school shooting
Yeah.
in this year. Crazy. How many people need to die? How many people need to die daily and just say that we're sending prayers? Don't send me prayers. Sit down and do something about it. We can't do
nobody
something
cares
about it.
about that. They want something done about it. And you know, it's so crazy because, you know, I grew up in America. I never had guns. I don't really know a lot of people that have guns. Maybe because I'm liberal and I grew up in, like the gay circles and things like that. But until it started touching me a little bit, until Pulse nightclub happened, and until I was more fearful that in a safe space, in a kid's school, that people were going to bring in guns. I wasn't so worried about it. Now I have a higher level of concern about it because I have kids. And I get fearful every single day that they're going. I mean, it's sad that when I was a kid, I learned how to shelter in place in case like a bomb happened because we were worried about the Russians bombing.
The Cold War.
And now they know how to deal with an active shooter. I could ask my 14-year-old son exactly what the procedure of an active shooter is, and he knows exactly how to respond to that. And that's just sad. I don't know why that should be the norm for our kids these days.
And I hate that argument, what the Republican Party especially the MAGA fans bringing out. Well, guns don't kill people, people kill people. Stupid, because that's why we need regulations, to make sure that people who are gonna kill people are not gonna get the guns for them.
Well, when that argument was at its height, isn't that when the shooting, I forget where it was, the shooting that was it in Texas, where they waited to go in?
Yes.
And more people died?
Yeah.
Because they were scared to go in, they didn't want to deal with that. So you talk about guns are going to combat guns. Good people with guns are going to combat the bad people with guns. Well, case in point, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
You had some really good people. I don't think that any of those police officers were bad people. But they were scared to go in, and I get it. They were scared for their life because they knew that there was fucking somebody on the other side that wanted to shoot them. And as much as they should have ran in and done that to save those kids, they were scared to do that. And that's a human reaction.
That's a human reaction.
I get that. Why did any of that have to happen? None of that this conversation shouldn't have happened because that shouldn't have happened.
No, not at all. And just to say, I've always been a big voice against guns since I moved here. Like I said, I accepted the fact that there is going to be guns. But I went to college 2-3 years ago. I started college. On my first semester, that was the shooting at UNM.
Oh, that was the shooting. My niece was there for that shooting.
And I was in the same building where the shooting happened. And I needed to text my parents here in the United States that I'm not sure what's happening. Don't look at the news. I text you if I'm okay.
So,
and still today, every time I hear when I'm in a classroom and I hear a loud noise outside, the first thing I get is getting myself, like it's have a reaction to it. And people who never experience it, I don't wish them to experience it ever in their life because it's awful, it's unhumane. You feel like your life is gonna get over there. You don't know what to do. You are shocked that it's gonna happen with you because it's so easy to say it's never gonna happen with you. You never know. It was my first semester in a college and I went through the shooting situation. And after I needed to realize that the problem is not the guns, the problem is the people. The people is the problem. And we need to stop people to access these mass destruction weapons for no fucking reason. If you want to have a gun to protect your home in your own house, I support you. Get your gun, keep it at home, and
like a pistol or something.
Like a pistol.
Yeah.
To save your house if someone even want to break in. But once you bring that weapon outside of your house, you should get jailed, you should get fined, and you should get taken away your rights to have a gun. These are not safe, people are nuts, and I believe, after studying criminal justice, there is two major ideologies, but they bring it up in the first semester I had, and it's really interesting, and I want you guys to think about it too. Are people following the laws because they are good people and they believe that these laws are right, or are people follow the laws because they scared from the consequences, and every people is inherently bad? And my personal view on this, after studying this many years of criminal justice, that people are inherently bad, and they're not doing things because the law prohibits them to do it. Don't tell me if tomorrow they say it's free to rob a bank. People would go and rob a bank. They don't care about the...
Or if the purge was...
If the purge was real.
The purge was...
And that would be how it was in the movie.
Yeah.
People would go out and kill. People are inherently bad. We are evolutionarily animals. We all go for ourselves, we have empathy, we have more feelings that the normal animal has. True, I give it. But those feelings are not towards everyone in our life, it's not towards every population of the times. We are selfish, we love our group, we love our friends, we love our rights, but if the laws not stopping us to do things, we would do more terrible things. Because we're already doing it with the consequences that we already know that we're going to face for it.
Yeah. The other thing too that I was thinking about while we were talking is, because I personally haven't been in a shooting. Thank God. I'm super happy that hasn't happened. But I have gone through active shooter training, and if you have never gone through active shooter training, you should, because it was an eye opener, and it was the most callous thing that I had ever heard of. Because when you go through like fire training, your whole thing is you need to help people. If there's somebody laying down, help them get out. Because if not, the fire is gonna kill them or whatever. Where with active shooter training, you don't think about anybody. You have to just go, because if you stop to help somebody, then you're both going to get shot. Yeah. So when I realized that, I was like, man, that breaks my heart. I couldn't even imagine if I'm in like a job situation and a coworker, I'm just gonna run in hopes that other people run and that a few of us survive, because people have a gun and they're going to shoot whoever's moving. It's fucked up. And it's like, it's disheartening. And I don't know how anybody gets that through their head and says, yeah, let's let people have more guns. Let's open up the laws even wider.
Yeah, wider. And
it doesn't make sense to me.
And looking at the current events, it's clear that we shouldn't point fingers. Like, that's another thing. I'm getting fed the fuck up the last couple of days. It's pointing fingers. It's the liberals, it's the Republicans, it's the liberals, it's the Republicans. It's all of us. It's all of us as humanity who need to stand up and say enough is enough. It's not the people in the White House, the people in the Congress are representing us. Us. Their job towards us, not towards these big companies who is giving them money. And we need to make sure that they are held accountable for their actions. And I can tell you that every family who went through ever any loss because of gun violence, they support gun-regulated laws. And when we're looking at the popular votes, the popular idea behind it, more than 70% of the United States citizens are agreed that we need stricter laws. It's not Republicans are believing, Democrats believing, independents believing. We are a country already have more than three quarters of the votes to pass this through. We just elect people who are not doing the job what they should be, and we need to have them
money in politics because of the NRA.
But we need to keep them accountable for that. If you don't do it, you get sent out. Next election, we vote for someone else. And don't.
I wish that we were. I wish that we did handle things.
Yes, and we need to stop partisan politics.
There's a lot of people that I would love to get out.